Okay, well, today we're going to work on getting these spur lines hooked up. I've gone ahead and drilled holes and measured where these things are supposed to go. I've cut the wires. I've got these distribution blocks I've bought off Amazon that I'm going to hook up to underneath. I get these, they're a 12 position distribution block, and they can be daisy chained together. So we're going to use them underneath. I'll hook up on this side and I'll run a wire across the other side, have another distribution block over there to run the spurs on that side. We'll get these hooked up, get them soldered, and then the next step will be putting the tracks into the roundhouse, which I'm gonna do another video about that because we'll be jumpering those tracks into the box. So I guess we'll go ahead and get to it. I'll turn that off so we're not making as much noise. So I like to turn these over. Normally I don't solder to the bottom of the track. It's just one of those things that I like the lock-ons. The lights help. I like the lights on the track. And it's one of those, if I need to get the track up and work on stuff, it's easier to disconnect the lock-on than it is to try and fight soldered wires. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this wire, we're gonna split it and strip it, and then I'm going to take the ends of it and wrap it around the copper pieces on the bottom of this track and solder it on. So the problem with these, having the track with the road bed on it, which I like it, I use it, I've got bunches of it, but I don't normally solder to the track, is that if you heat these little copper pieces up on here, it'll melt the tabs that are holding them, and sometimes it causes problems. So I try not to put a bunch of temperature or a bunch of heat to it. Try not to melt those tabs. But I'm gonna put a little flux on the copper tabs there. I'm gonna put some flux on the wire. It helps the solder get into it, makes it stick. Just got that. Now this wire is 16 gauge wire. It's probably a little bigger than what I need to be doing this with because we're not traveling that far, but it's what I have available currently. And it's got a black wire and it's got a wire with a red stripe. Very important to keep that, you be able to differentiate between your wires, because you get them mixed up and you put your hot wire on this outside and your ground wire on the inside somewhere, and it just creates a short, and you spend hours trying to figure out where it is. So either use wire that's got a stripe on it that designates, one from the other, or sometimes I'll buy the speaker wire and one wire is copper color and one wire is silver, and that makes it easier to differentiate as well. Because we're running low voltage, you could use speaker wire. It doesn't have to be, it's not like you're running a lot of power through it. So even low voltage wire for running like outdoor lights, that kind of stuff, you can use that as well. The longer your runs are, the bigger your wire should be. You're going to have less resistance. You're going to have less voltage drop if you're running a big wire versus a little wire on a long run. So picture it kind of like sending water down a hose or down a pipe, and it starts out in a big pipe. And as it gets smaller, your flow gets less. You'd think that it would push harder, but it doesn't. It just restricts it. So longer runs, bigger wires. Here we're gonna, I'm just trying to keep the voltage from dropping, going all the way around here. So it's really not that big of a deal, but this is what I have. So this is what we're using. So when I set this up and I do these tabs in the middle, I'm going to take this wire and I'm going to run it underneath. I'm going to run it underneath the tab. I like to take the wires and go opposite directions just because Murphy's always out there. I try to make it as least possible way for things to touch and short. So I'll run the red wire underneath and bring it back up. Fold it over that copper tab, just like that. Get our solder over here. Get the soldering iron. All right, so there's one side. I'll set that down so I don't get burnt. Run this one underneath the other, going the opposite direction. Pull that up and over. All right, so that one's done. Now let's take it, turn it back over here, push the wire back down through the table. Now I've put marks on the table here to tell me where these are, how to line these up, but I'll have to run the turntable around, run the bridge around to make sure that I've got them far enough out from the bridge that it's not catching. So once I'm going to do another one here, and so if you missed it the first time, I'll do one more, and then we'll check them for power. I'll hook them up to the Z4000, see if we got power. We'll put the Norfolk Southern car on here and see if we got juice. So let's knock this one out. So if you all have comments or something you want to see, something I'm not doing you'd like to see done, or I'm not showing something, or you have questions, by all means leave me a comment. If you like the content, you like what I'm doing, give me a thumbs up. Let me know that that you like what you see, so I continue doing it. Because there ain't no sense in doing it if nobody wants to see it. But and then of course, subscribe to the channel. It'll let you know when I got something coming up. I try to post at least one thing a week. I don't like to just video to video, because there ain't no reason for y'all to watch me stand around scratching my head. But so I will have some content. Hopefully, I'll do a couple more videos putting the roundhouse together, setting the bridges, that type of stuff. But anyway, subscribe, give me a like, give me a thumbs down if you don't like it. I just need to know y'all are out there. So again, we're going to take the flux. We're going to flux up the tabs on the bottom. Put some flux on the wires. Got that down. So I'm going to get up here a little closer for y'all so maybe you can see this better. So here's my wire with the red stripe on it. I'm going to take that one, go underneath, bring it back up on top. And then take the wire. I'm using silver solder. It melts at a lower temperature, makes it easier to not cook things when you're trying to solder, because it doesn't get as hot. one's on there, so we're going to take the black one, run it from the other side. Fold that over. Well, this one's not wanting to cooperate. All right, there, I think it took that time. All right, we'll set this off to the side here. Turn this puppy back over. All right, now we'll test them. Make sure that they work. And if they work, then we'll line them up with the bridge. And we can screw them down. There's one. All right, so turn on the Z4000, get us a little juice going on here. Test this one first. Well, maybe. Maybe like that, the wire's just a little bit too short. Even the best laid plans don't always work out. So, you know what we'll just move stuff around. Shift that over there. Slide those. Oh my goodness, that thing's heavy. Set that up there. Red light. There you go. We got power to that, to the spur line there. Switch it out. Now, one of the things that you have to check when you're doing this also is, I made these up because they're only 20-inch spurs. So they're two pieces of 10-inch track and a bumper. Well, you need to make sure that you're getting power on both sides of your your track. It may not, you may not get juice on this side because it's not touching or something. I've made sure that I had everything touching when I put it together, but it's a possibility that you won't get juice on that other side. So what we're going to do is, on this one, I'll pick these rear wheels up so they're not touching the track, and we'll give it some juice. See, we got the lights. Lights have come on because it's getting power from the front wheels that are up on that other piece of track. Red lights on back here, so we got juice back here. Set that down, we got power all the way across. So it's important that you check that, and you got to check it like I just did, lifting the wheels up, because it'll power if even if there's a break in the track here. If you've got wheels on that track and wheels on this track, it'll go through the train and put power to that track in front of it. But if you roll across it and there's nothing going to that track, you'll lose power, and you'll be like, well, it was working before, but it's not working now. What did I do wrong? So you always want to check your track before you lay it down. I roll everything over. I make all the tabs touch, check to make sure we got good connection, and then I'll screw stuff down. So now that we've made sure we've got power to these, I'll go ahead and move this car out the way and put him over here. We'll put him over there, and we will take the power from the track and we will hook up to the turntable. So we can test and make sure that we've got these tracks lined up right and that they're far enough back away from the turntable itself. So then I can screw them down and be done with this section. So slide these back a little bit. Reach under here to my house on the thing, give it some juice. I'm not drawing any amps, which is a good thing. And all right, so we're lined up right here. So take this track, slide it up to where we've got roughly about I'd say there's probably about 1/8 of an inch in between those rails. Now, you don't have to run those down super tight. You don't really want to flex out the track. You're just trying to hold it in place. I generally don't put a screw in every hole. I alternate sides though, usually. But seeing as how this is a short track, we're gonna go ahead and put a couple more in it than I normally would. So that spur line is good to go. I will hook it up to the distribution panel underneath, and I won't have to play with that one anymore. Let's see if we can line this other one up. All right, so we got that one lined up. Same thing, I want to give it about 1/8 of an inch roughly. Just kind of eyeballing it. Make sure my track is in between my marks I put on the table. And give it a screw, we'll put a screw in it. So, this is about all I got for today. Like I said, if you like what I'm doing, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe. It'll let you know when new content pops up. And I appreciate y'all watching. And hopefully we'll get back to having some smoke therapy soon, because Lord knows I need it. So, thanks for watching. Y'all have a good evening.